Spider-Man thought he stopped the mugger. One punch, one life gone. But the man wasn't human. He was an alien scout sent to study Earth. Now his species wants revenge. And the first to arrive is Superman. But this Superman doesn't wear a cape. He came to erase the mistake and the one who made it. New York never sleeps, but that night, something in the air felt wrong. Not just crime, something colder. Peter Parker was off patrol. No mask, just a walk. He saw the man in the alley, pacing, mumbling in a language no one spoke, eyes glowing faint blue, fingers twitching near his coat. Peter's instinct kicked in, the kind of instinct that doesn't wait for a second guess. He moved, fast. One punch, center mass, just enough to knock out a threat. The man collapsed like a puppet with its strings cut. But there was no scream, no gasp, no blood. There was a hiss from his mouth and a slow leak of glowing blue mist. Peter stared. Not human, not even close. His hands trembled. The skin on the man's face was changing, fading into a charcoal black beneath the surface. Symbols pulsing just under the skin like circuitry. His pupils widened into galaxies, then shrank to nothing. Peter stepped back. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. S.H.I.E.L.D. arrived fast, too fast, like they'd been tracking him. Nick Fury didn't speak for a long time. He just stood there over the body, then looked up at Peter. You didn't kill a man, Fury said finally. You started something. The body was sealed inside a containment pod. But even as it was being loaded, something on its wrist activated. A flicker of light, a glyph none of Earth's languages could decode. In space, hundreds of light years away, the signal was received. It hit a dormant satellite that hadn't spoken in centuries. It blinked once, then again, then fired a beam toward a red sun, and woke him. Not the Superman Earth knew, a different one, from a fractured dimension. A soldier bred in silence, molded in war, buried beneath the weight of Krypton's exile. He stepped forward from the solar cradle, eyes glowing with a heat far beyond rage. He wore no cape, no symbol, just obsidian armor fused with alien tech. He saw the signal and knew exactly what it meant. Back on Earth, Peter locked himself in his apartment, rewatching the moment over and over. It wasn't a threat. The man never attacked. He reached for something, a beacon, a message. Peter had assumed the worst, and now it was too late. Then the quake came. Manhattan rumbled as the skies cracked open. Peter looked out the window and saw him, hovering above the city, silent, still, burning. Not a villain, not a hero, but a judgment. And he had come for Spider-Man. The first thing to go silent was the birds. Then the clouds froze. Not a single leaf moved. The entire city paused like a held breath as something hovered over Midtown, 10 feet above the tallest building, unmoving, watching. He didn't come crashing through walls. He didn't shout warnings. He just hovered, a god dressed in black, with no symbol on his chest. Peter was already suited up, heart pounding like a drum in a sinking ship. This wasn't just a cosmic threat. This was personal. Fury's voice snapped through the comms. That's not our Superman. The figure descended slowly, no sound, no sonic boom, just an eerie stillness that suffocated the city. He stopped midair across from Spider-Man, who stood perched on the edge of a ruined crane. I saw what you did, the figure said, voice hollow, metallic, calm like thunder under glass. Peter didn't flinch. He reached for something. I thought. You didn't think. You reacted. That man was not a threat. He was mine. The words hit harder than any punch. Yours. Peter asked, confused. He was a watcher, an observer sent ahead, a neutral. His death triggered a war chain. Peter's voice cracked. Then talk to me. I didn't know. But Superman wasn't listening. He reached forward. The air around him shimmered, buildings groaned, windows cracked. The sheer pressure of his existence distorted the skyline. And then he vanished. Peter's spider sense screamed, and the next second, he was slammed into the rooftop like a missile, coughing blood through his mask. Before he could react, Superman had him by the neck, dragging him across steel beams. Every action has weight. Every world watches Earth. Peter choked out. So you're judge, jury? I'm correction. Then came the blur. Something fast, even faster than Superman, slammed into him midair, sending both of them crashing into a parking structure. The dust cleared. Thor stood there, hammer crackling. You don't correct Earth without crossing me. Superman didn't answer. He turned, eyes burning, and in an instant, Mjolnir shattered. Thor was thrown 3 blocks through glass and steel like a ragdoll. The storm above fizzled. Peter tried to move, tried to help, but Superman's foot landed inches from his face. You're not special. You're dangerous. And then he was gone, back into the clouds, hovering again, waiting. Peter crawled to the edge of the building, coughing, mind racing. He hadn't just killed an alien. He'd triggered a trial Earth couldn't survive. And this Superman wasn't going to forgive anything. Peter didn't sleep. He couldn't. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the alien's face. Not angry, not afraid, just warning him. A look that said don't. And he did. Now Thor was unconscious, buried in rubble somewhere downtown. Nick Fury had gone dark. S.H.I.E.L.D. was on lockdown. And Superman still hovered above Manhattan like a silent executioner. Peter sat alone in a utility tunnel under Queens, bruised, suit torn, eyes locked on a cracked tablet, playing the alley footage again. Over and over. The man never raised a weapon. No attack stance. He reached inside his coat, and Peter moved too fast. He'd watched 100 times. Same conclusion. He was wrong. But guilt wasn't the only thing growing. The alien's wrist, the device it had activated. Something ancient. Something alive. Peter froze the frame. Glowing glyphs blinked around the wrist like a code. He zoomed in. One symbol flickered. Again and again. Then disappeared. Not a countdown. A memory. Peter hacked into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s restricted files. The device wasn't standard alien tech. It was Kryptonian hybrid, buried with older markings, older than any known civilization. Whatever that man was carrying, it wasn't just a beacon. It was a message, maybe even a secret. Peter suited up again, ignoring the cracked ribs and blurred vision. He needed answers, fast. And only one person on Earth could pull memories from dead tech, Wakanda. But the skies weren't safe anymore. Not with Superman watching. Peter moved through shadows, clinging to underground rails, hitching rides beneath cloak trucks, crawling through air vents like the ghost of a dying world. He reached a secure S.H.I.E.L.D. lab in Brooklyn. Jarvis was already online. Welcome, Peter. I've isolated a partial translation from the glyph sequence. Show me. The screen flashed. Not text, not language. A face. The alien's face staring back. Alive. Blinking. And whispering something. Peter leaned in. Can you enhance audio? The voice came through, distorted but clear enough. If you're seeing this, then I failed. Earth isn't what they think. Superman doesn't know the truth. He thinks I'm here to spy. But I came to protect something buried. Something Krypton lost. Peter's breath caught. The message ended. No coordinates. No clue what it was. Just one phrase burned into the screen. The blood of Earth can kill a god. Peter stepped back. Superman wasn't here for justice. He was here to hide this, to erase the messenger. And Peter had helped him. Peter didn't wait for permission. He hijacked the SHIELD drone and flew it straight to the Atlantic. Beneath the waves, at coordinates hidden in the alien's wrist device, sat a wrecked pod, not from Krypton, not from Earth. Something older, something fused with both. With oxygen running low and sharks circling, he broke through the hatch. The inside was glowing with glyphs, but in the center, untouched by water, sat a sphere. Smooth, pulsing, alive. Peter reached for it. The moment his fingers made contact, it latched onto his skin and downloaded a vision into his mind. A memory not his own. He saw worlds burning, galaxies in retreat, Kryptonians standing over scorched planets. But this wasn't war. It was containment. The scout wasn't a spy. He was a whistleblower. He had discovered that Earth's DNA mutated, accelerated by radiation and evolution, could create cells toxic to Kryptonian biology. Not just kryptonite, not a rock, living kryptonite. Superman wasn't here to punish Spider-Man. He was here to bury what that alien tried to reveal. Peter shot back to the surface, gasping. He uploaded the memory to SHIELD satellites, encrypted it, sent it to Wakanda, to the X-Men, to anyone who might believe it. Then he turned east, toward the moon. Superman was there, waiting. Peter stood on lunar dust, chest rising, hand shaking. "You lied," he said. Superman didn't argue. "I protected peace." Peter stepped closer. "You protected silence. I prevented extinction. If the universe finds out your blood can kill us." Peter cut him off. "You mean me. You mean mutants. Metahumans. Earth." Superman's eyes burned red. "You think I came to destroy you? No. I came to stop what comes after you. Earth's potential isn't heroic. It's apocalyptic." Peter pulled the sphere from his suit, now glowing hotter. "The truth's out. SHIELD has it. The galaxy will know. Then we've already lost." A shadow passed over the moon. Not a ship, a fleet. Thousands of vessels, triangular, black, and silent. The race the scout belonged to was already here, and they weren't coming to negotiate. Superman turned toward them. "We triggered the wrong alarm." Peter stared. "Then let's fix it. You still think like a boy, and you still think like a weapon." Without another word, they launched. Not at each other, at the sky, together. Because Earth wasn't on trial anymore. The galaxy was answering the call. And now Spider-Man and Superman stood side by side, against a war neither of them wanted, but both of them helped start. The stars above Earth dimmed, not from nightfall, but from the sheer scale of what was coming. The alien fleet had no sound, no broadcast, no threat. They didn't send a message. They didn't ask for surrender, because it wasn't war. It was execution. The sky broke into layers of dark geometry, colossal ships phasing into reality like puzzle pieces snapping together. Each was covered in script and scars. Alien flesh and machine, metal fused, grown, evolved beyond understanding. Each vessel pulsed with a cold, sentient hatred. Not revenge, not rage, but correction. Earth had been marked as a glitch in the cosmic code, and Spider-Man had lit the fuse. He hovered beside Superman, standing on a piece of shattered moon rock, the gravity confused between dimensions as the first warship opened. Inside the glowing mouth of the mothership, rows of creatures stood motionless. They looked humanoid but hollow. Their skin was covered in symbols, just like the one Peter killed. But these were not scouts. They were reapers. Superman's eyes narrowed. They're not here to erase the guilty. They're here to wipe the experiment. Peter stared into the void. They mean Earth. Superman didn't answer. He didn't need to. A pulse fired from the nearest warship, striking Earth's upper atmosphere. In an instant, all satellites, military, commercial, defense, went black. No warnings, no nukes, no scramble code, just offline. A second pulse spread through the oceans. The magnetic field rippled. The planet was being deactivated. Spider-Man adjusted the alien tech, now fused to his left arm. The sphere from the wrecked pod had merged with his suit, rewriting its purpose. It wasn't just a power-up. It was a key, a translator, a weapon. Superman glanced over. "You shouldn't be here." Peter nodded. "I know," but he didn't leave. From Earth, Wakanda launched defensive satellites, coated with vibranium frequency shields. Mutants activated hidden bunkers. S.H.I.E.L.D. issued evacuation to deep core shelters. Thor had returned, barely walking. His new axe reforged from remnants of Mjolnir. Even Doctor Strange reappeared, but he wasn't alone. Behind him, cloaked in cosmic flame, stood Jean Grey. But it wasn't enough. The fleet wasn't here to fight. It was here to overwrite. The first drones descended, fast, silent, perfect. Superman shattered 5 before they landed. But for every one that fell, 10 more emerged. They phased through matter, bypassed shields, shut down technology by existing near it. Peter moved faster than he ever had, swinging through orbital debris, firing webs laced with encoded pulses from the alien core, temporarily stalling their progress. His suit morphed mid-battle, adapting, evolving. He wasn't just Spider-Man anymore. He was a conduit for the message the galaxy tried to erase. And he'd become too loud to ignore. Superman dove into the heart of the mothership, tearing open its control spine. Inside, he found a memory matrix. The alien scout's consciousness had been uploaded, fractured, confused, overwritten by command code. But one part remained intact. A name, Kal-El. The scout had not come to Earth as a spy. He had come seeking Superman. Because buried deep in the scout's DNA was Kryptonian code, a genetic fingerprint. The alien wasn't just another species. He was Kal-El's cousin, a child of mixed origin, born from Krypton's experiments before its fall. And Peter had killed him, not out of hate, not even out of fear, but out of instinct. Superman froze. The alien's final message, encrypted in his blood, now replayed inside the ship's core. If you're reading this, Kal-El, then you've chosen fear over truth. I came to save Earth, not from you, but from what your creators buried here. Peter's voice cracked through the comms. You knew him? Superman responded softly. I knew the project. I didn't know they survived. The ship trembled. The fleet had started the next phase, rewriting Earth's atmospheric code, turning nitrogen to a slow-acting gas that would render all organic memory blank. Not death, just deletion. Peter made the call. Activate the core. The alien sphere on his arm lit up, glowing red-hot. He launched into the center of the fleet, dodging drones, bypassing armor, diving straight into the data hive. Superman tried to stop him. You'll die. Peter turned midair, mask torn, eyes wide. Then let them remember who tried to fix it. He smashed the sphere into the nexus of the ships. The pulse fired. But it wasn't a bomb. It was a truth wave. Encoded memories. The scout's DNA. Footage of the moment he died. Earth's history. Humanity's defiance. Everything the fleet tried to erase. Peter sent it out in every direction. Not to destroy, to teach. The fleet hesitated. Not just because of the blast, but because the Reapers, for a moment, stopped moving. One dropped its weapon. Another blinked, a sign of cognition. The core had worked. It triggered empathy. Somewhere, something cracked. The hive mind fractured. And Peter, falling back toward Earth, could feel it. Superman caught him before the atmosphere tore him apart. You idiot, he muttered, flying them both through the fire. Peter laughed. You're welcome. The fleet didn't leave, but it didn't attack. It hovered, waiting, watching. Then, one by one, the ships powered down their weapons. Not peace, not surrender, just hesitation. They had seen what the scout wanted them to see. They had seen Spider-Man's mistake and his choice to fix it. Superman landed gently outside the S.H.I.E.L.D. bunker. Peter was alive, barely. He looked up, mask off, bloody, exhausted. Did we win? Superman didn't answer right away. No, he said, but we didn't lose. Peter looked out at the stars. They'll be back. Superman nodded. So will we. A week later, a memorial was built, not just for the alien scout, but for the billions of voices erased across history by fear and silence. And at its base, carved into stone by someone unknown, were 6 words. The truth killed him. So I lived. Peter visited it every year, not because he wanted to remember what he did, but because he needed to remember what he stopped from happening again. White heavy check mark complete.